and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be doing the mini-me doll. So if you guys watch a lot of doll repaint videos, I do. I watch like every doll repaint video. You may have noticed that there are a lot of channels that have like tiny little doll avatars of themselves, and I think it's the cutest thing ever, so I wanted to make one. Since this is also a makeup channel, I'm sure a lot of you guys are quite acquainted with my face, but if you're not, here's some selfies. I've been kind of obsessively buying doll lots off eBay lately. It's just what I do for fun. But because of that, I had quite a few candidates for this doll. And when I was looking for this doll, I was looking for two main things really. Was a doll with a chubby face and a doll with pale skin, because I got a big old round head and my skin's real pale. I narrowed it down to these four ladies, so Elizabeth, Draculaura, Applewhite, and Duchess Swan. I eliminated Elizabeth pretty quickly because the tone of her skin is like more purple tone than Draculaura's, and they're basically the same doll except for that. Aside from like slight face mold differences, they're basically the same doll. And then I eliminated Applewhite because her head is literally a circle, and I have a very round head, but I feel like it's not quite that round. So between Duchess Swan and Draculaura, I decided to go with Draculaura because I just felt like her face, like her features, were a little bit more similar to mine. Her nose is upturned, and so is mine, and the shape of her lips is kind of similar to mine, so I decided to go with Draculaura. But here's the thing. I'm not crazy about the Monster High body, and since I knew that I was going to get a lot of use out of this doll, I decided to do a little bit of a head swap. Something kind of weird with this specific Draculaura that I was kind of hoping would stick around is that her face is stained more yellowy than most Draculauras, and I will show you guys a comparison in a minute. But yeah, I was hoping that would stick around because then I wouldn't have to color correct her face quite as much to match Applewhite's body. I thought about using Draculaura's normal hair and like cutting out all the pink and styling it in a way where it would look like mine because my hair is black, but I don't think that would have worked out. It just seems sort of sad though to cut off all her hair and then give her more black hair. It just seems sort of sad and unnecessary, but that's what I ended up doing. After cutting all that hair off, I put her head in hot water for about a minute, let it like soak, and then I pull it off. Hey, so let's talk about this beautiful, glorious screwdriver that I am in love with. So if you guys don't use a screwdriver yet to get plugs out, stop what you're doing and go buy yourself a screwdriver. It normally takes me about 30 minutes to like get all the hair plugs out, and my hands hurt afterwards, and it just kind of sucks. But this took me 2 minutes to get all these hair plugs out. Are you serious? Like, it's so easy. It's beautiful. Look at her beautiful bald head that took me all of 2 minutes to get all those hair plugs out. So convenient, you guys, seriously. But this is actually the first time that I'm customizing a Draculaura, and I actually really do think her face is so cute. I'm like sort of excited. But I get all the paint off with extra strength nail polish remover. She has a really cute face mold. Like, I really like Draculaura's face mold. But I was just comparing to see if it was still stained, the skin. So I put Applewhite's body next to it, and I think that the staining went away, which didn't turn out to be such a big deal. Then we're getting ready to reroot. So the first step when you reroot is to paint the scalp, whatever color you're going to be rerooting it with. And I'm rerooting it with black, so I didn't take off the black paint or anything that she originally had, but I'm just kind of cleaning it up a little bit, like around the hairline. This is my first time rerooting with actual doll hair. I normally reroot with yarn, but I didn't think yarn was kind of the consistency of my hair. My hair is like very fine, like greasy, so I didn't think yarn would really quite look like my hair. But I am using the Doll Planet's hair, and this is in Blackest Night, and I'm just taking a little bit and plunging it into the head. And I've heard that this hair is slippery from other doll customizers, and might I say, I concur. It was quite slippery, and I definitely overplugged the hair, which is totally my bad. I tried to give the hair a side part because that's the type of part that I have, and I kind of messed that up a little bit too. Whoopsies. But I squeezed Fabri-Tac glue into her head and I let it dry for a day, and then I poured boiling water onto her hair to make it lay flat. Now we're on to the face up, yay! So all the products I use will be listed down below, but the first thing that I always do is I put 3 layers of Mr. Super Clear on the face. And you guys, Mr. Super Clear is highly toxic, so please wear a respirator mask. Since Draculaura's face was still a little bit too pinky tone, I put a flesh tone pastel all over her face. My general thought process behind this doll is that I wanted her to look like me, but also look like a doll. And I think in the end, she wasn't quite as successful at looking like me than I could have made her. For example, if you guys, I'm going to post pictures of the doll that I did of my husband, because I made a doll of him as well. And I think that looks pretty portrait-like. Like it looks quite a bit like him. Whereas this doll looks kind of more generally like me, like it has my skin tone, and it also has my eye color. Well, not my natural eye color because my eyes are naturally brown and I wear gray contacts on a daily basis, but my eye color for the most part on a daily basis if you guys were to see me. So yeah, I just think that her looking like me wasn't quite as successful, but I'm still happy with the way she looks by the end of this. I put many layers of pink on my dolls because I really like them to have a flush look, so that's what I'm starting to do now. I tried to keep the eyebrows straight and sort of thick because that's how I like them. Taking different toned pastels of brown, blue, purple, white, and pink, I shade around the face. For the waterline, I initially put down a peachy tone, but I go back in with dark red, black, and also white and light pink to shade it in. So you guys may see my head pop into the right of the frame occasionally, and I'm sorry about that, but I wanted to take this time to recommend something to you guys. So I picked this up seriously like last week, and I kind of bought it because I was like, maybe this will work pretty well, but it works so well for like tiny little details on dolls. It is a magnifying glass that's like, it's like glasses, but they're magnifying glasses. I'll link the one that I bought down below. I bought it off Amazon. It works so well for details, and I just highly recommend it. With my black pencil, I go in and I do quick flicks on the eyebrows for eyebrow hair. On the innermost part of the eyebrow, they're kind of sticking pretty straight up, but as they go towards the end of the eyebrow, they're getting slightly more curved. I add tones of white and cream colored pencil and pastels to highlight the eyelid, the brow bone, the bridge of the nose, the forehead, and the chin. I've mentioned this before, but I have a weird liking, is that the right word, for veins on my dolls. So I like to put them on the brow bone and the temple area, and these are just kind of branch-like pencil marks on those areas. I love pearlex pigments a whole lot, so I take my micro pearl and I put it on my forehead, and I also put some on the temples, because your girl wears highlight a whole lot, and this is supposed to be me, so I figured it was only suiting. She's starting to come to life. I've mentioned this before, but I spray my dolls about 5 to 6 times when I am repainting. So I spray initially 3 times and then 5 to 6 times while I'm painting, and then 3 times to set it with Mr. Super Clear. I wanted to make sure that this doll had a cat eye because I wear a cat eye on a daily basis, so I extended her lash line more than I normally would. Since I wear thick lashes all day, every day, I decided to give her some thick eyelashes. I contemplated giving her 3D lashes, but I don't really like the look of those on dolls. I don't know, I guess it's kind of like a preference. Some people really like those. I'm not crazy about them. Something I tried for the first time with this doll repaint is wetting my paintbrush and getting paint from the watercolor pencil, and that works so well. Like, the paint is very thin, so it just lays down very nicely, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna use that technique in future customs. But I gave her my kind of signature little swirlies on her cheeks. I also went in with black paint and I outlined her cat eye. Now for the final steps in the doll repaint, and that is adding little white dots all over the place. So I put them in the corners of the mouth. I put 1 dot on each side, and then I put dots on the cheeks, and I do my white dots on the eyes for the, I think they're called catch lights, and I put little highlights on the waterline. Her hair was still pretty long, so I went in and I just cut it. Cut a whole chunk of it off. I'm not very good at cutting doll hair. I'm not even gonna pretend like I am, but I took some Vallejo gloss varnish and I put it on her eyes and lips. You guys have seen me do this like a million times, but I do not like the seam lines on dolls or the panties, so I scrape off the seam lines with a utility knife and I sand off the panties with sandpaper. After that, I blush the body, and I do it with pretty much the same tones that I used on the face, on the body. I kind of like to keep my blushing on the joints, so like the wrist, the arms, and I'm way more lazy with blushing the body, honestly. I just don't do it quite as detailed as I do the face at all. It's finally time to put her head back on, and I was so excited too because I wanted to see how the Monster High head looked on the Ever After High body. These are baby socks, and you may be asking, why baby socks? Well, you see, I wear a beanie pretty much on, almost a daily basis. I like wearing beanies a lot, so I decided to make my doll a beanie. And I followed a My Froggy Stuff tutorial to make this beanie. I will link it down below if you guys are curious. But it was like beyond easy to do, like so easy and so smart to use a baby sock. I was like kind of dreading this. I was like, do I have to learn how to knit to like knit a tiny hat? No, buy a baby sock and follow her tutorial. And voila, we have a tiny beanie. And it seriously looks like a straight up tiny beanie, doesn't it? Like, that's very effective. I've mentioned this in past videos. If you guys are new to making tiny doll clothes, I highly recommend going into your stash of Ever After High or Monster High clothes and taking apart a dress that you like. It really helps you figure out how it's made, and also you get the pattern from it. So that's just really helped me figure out how to sew. I have to say, this has to be like one of the best dresses I've ever made, which isn't saying much because I'm very new to sewing, but I really like how this one turned out. Like, I think it's pretty cute. With different tones of pastel acrylic paint, I painted in the details on the boots. I think these are Vibrine Gorgon's boots, I think, don't quote me. And then I took some little embellishments like pearls and a bow, and I just made my dress prettier. With her boots, her dress, her necklace, and her beanie, those are all her accessories, and we're gonna put them on her. After all of that, we're finally done. I love her. I think she's so adorable, which feels sort of strange because she's supposed to be a doll of myself. I don't necessarily know though if I captured my likeness quite as much as I would have liked to. I probably should have put her like in more obvious makeup. I think that would have looked more like me, honestly, because I wear shitloads of makeup. But I didn't want to put a ton of makeup on her. I don't know. I like painting dolls with natural faces. I need to like branch out though. I know that that's gonna get very repetitive very fast. But yeah, I don't necessarily know if I like captured her likeness, but it was really fun painting a Draculaura for the first time. I love her like elfy face mold. She's so cute. And I definitely want to paint more of her. I painted a doll of my husband, and that looks way more like my husband than this doll looks like me. So yeah, I'll put you guys will see some footage of that soon. But I'll put a photo of him up so you can like tell me if you think it looks like him too. But yeah, I tried a lot of new things with this doll. I rerouted with doll hair for the first time, which I've never done, and like, oh my god, my studio was such a mess. There was like hair everywhere. And you guys may notice that there are a couple shots where her hat is like barretted into her head because this hair was so slippery. Like I put the hat on and it kept slipping off. It's so strange, so strange. But yeah, I painted with watercolor pencils for the first time, like wetting them and then taking my paintbrush and painted them on a doll's face for the first time, and that was super successful. Also, I mentioned that magnifying glass thing that I used for the first time in this video. Please go buy that if you guys do dollar paints. It's very, very, very helpful. Anyway guys, that's basically everything. Let me know if you think this doll looks like me down below. Like this video if you like this video, subscribe, it makes me happy, and I hope you guys are having a beautiful day. Bye!
Baby.